else you have to keep in mind if you are making a plan for a yearly plan. Steps in year plan. What are the different steps in preparing a year plan? Advantages. What are the advantages of year plan? Meaning of unit plan. What is the meaning of unit plan? Characteristics of unit plan. What are the different characteristics of a unit plan? Steps in unit plan. Different steps that you will use if you are preparing a unit plan. Advantages. What are the advantages of a unit plan? Now, year plan. The teaching at the beginning of the academic year means when the academic year starts, the teacher has to start preparing for it. So, at the beginning of the academic year plan, the entire course for the year in consultation with the other teacher handling the same subject from the same standard. Now, you have to prepare the whole course plan for the academic year, and you have to consult with other teachers who are handling the same subject for the same standard. For example, you are teaching 6 standard students. The subject you are teaching is English, and the other teacher who is also teaching English to the same standard. Now you have to consult that teacher for preparing the academic year plan for the course English for the whole year. The curricular and co-curricular activities, different curricular and co-curricular activities which you will undertake for that academic year, like science club, IT club, debate, quizzes, and field trip for the entire year are planned. Means the entire year planning has to be done by the teacher, by the subject teacher. Now it's include both the curricular and the co-curricular activities. The curricular activities will include when the weekly test will be held, how much time will be given for the completion of the first unit, how you will teach that particular topic, which teaching aids will be used, what will be your teaching methodology. Everything has to be there in the year plan. And the co-curricular activities, like for this topic, I will take the students for the field trip. For this topic, I will organize a debate competition in my class. For teaching this topic, I will teach students with the role play method. Now, these are the different curricular and co-curricular activities that are designed or planned by the teacher when he is starting with the academic year. The number of units in the syllabus, how many units will be there in the syllabus, or we can say the whole syllabus will be divided into how many units, the number of periods allocated for each of the units. Now what is that? For example, there are 5 units. We have divided our syllabus into 5 different units, and now we have to decide how much time or period will be allocated for each particular unit. For example, I have decided for the first unit, it will take 12 periods to complete that unit. Then that 12 periods is the allotted time that has been given for completion of that particular unit. In the same way, we have to give the allotted periods to almost each and every unit in the syllabus. The number of computer science periods per week, how many computer science periods will be, the number of working day per term and year, how many working days will be there. Now the working days will be, we have to count for every month how many working days are there. We have to exempt Sundays and national holidays and any other, and after that, that number that will come out are called as the working days per term, per year, and year, and per term for every particular term for midterm, for half yearly, annual exam. These are the different terms that has to be the number of working days, because we have to prepare our syllabus before the midterm. So that the number of days, holidays, revision, and examination. Now, the working day, as we have discussed, in that to excel, the government holidays, any other holidays, revision classes, how many revision required, and examination, how much time will be given for the conduction of. If it is available, number of periods are properly allocated to it. Number of periods means if the total working days are calculated, then only properly allocate to the units the proper periods that can be given to for its completion. Number of periods are properly allocated to the unit of a subject. In accordance with the requirements, the arrangement is known as year plan. In accordance, what are the different requirements? The arrangement is known as year plan. Means all the arrangements when it is termed as a year plan. It is a planning for the year. When we are making a proof plan for a year, then only it will be called as a yearly plan. A year work means the total work that has to be done in that particular year. It includes distribution of work, it includes the distribution of work to be done in that particular year, lessons in a given manner throughout the. It is a systematic calendar. Or we can say that year plan can be called as a systematic calendar because everything has been marked in it. For example, how many working days are there? We have calculated that calendar. How many days will be allotted to for completion of the unit, for the completion of the topic, when the weekly, when midterm will be held, is everything has been given. That's why we are calling it as a systematic calendar of a lesson plan. Now, why lesson plan? Because we have allotted that these particular uh, will be given for the completion of that unit. Now, accordingly, then you have to prepare plan. For example, there are 5 topics in a unit, and I have decided that days that will be needed for the completion of that unit are 10. Means for each lesson, I can or do periods for the completion of that particular lesson. So, of lesson plan up to now, we have decided that there will be a 2 days for the completion of the lesson plan. Now I have to prepare the lesson plan. Holidays, how many holidays? Extra activities. Now the extra activities that has to be during the year. How much time you will give for those extra curricular activities? What do curricular activities? How will you organize? All these things are mentioned in holidays and extra activities like sports day, exhibitions, and fair. Now, if you have decided in November sports day, then for how many that sports day days will be organized? Time for how many days? Fairs on which date it will be organized. Everything mentioned clearly in a unit yearly plan. Year plan is systematic procedure for finding out the extent to which you have realized the objective and specification. Now, teacher has to prepare a unit. year plan. Then, on the basis of that year plan, the teacher will prepare a unit plan, and on the basis of that unit plan, the teacher will prepare a lesson plan. This is the format. Now, what they are saying, systematic procedure. It's a sequential procedure. Everything has to be done in a order, in a systematic way. Procedure for finding out the extent to which the pupil has realized the objective, how much we will able to achieve our objective, or we can say the realization of the objectives has been done. And specification, if any specifications are there, then that has to be also included in the year plan. Factors considered by means, as a teacher you have decided that you are going to plan a year plan for the year, then you have to keep in mind certain factors while planning year. Now the first one to be taught in the subjects means, you have decided that I will teach students this particular syllabus, or then the second step is that you have to divide that syllabus into some units. Now, after you have to decide that how many units to be taught in that particular academic year. The objectives to be realized through the various units. Objectives which we want to achieve after the completion of that particular unit. Every unit which we have decided to be teach to the students must have some objective. We have to plan uh, accordingly to the objectives which we want to realize. Now, objective is to be realized through the various. What are the different objectives which we want to achieve, which we want to realize through the various units which we are going to teach to the student? Time has been prepared. It will include both curricular and co-curricular activities. Now, as a teacher, you have to decide what is the particular time that is available for teaching the students that particular subject or content. Now, the available for teaching is the time that is available for teaching. In that, you have to keep in mind the working days. First thing, second thing, you have to check how many popular activities have to be organized in that academic year. You have to exit those days also. So, after that, the days which are left will be used for teaching. Required for testing. Now, what is that? In the year plan, we have to assess the performances of the learners. In the performance of the learner, we have to organize tests from time to time. When preparing a year plan, we have to take the decision when the midterm will be held, when the yearly will be held, annual exams will be held. Now, you have to keep in mind how much time is required for testing, for evaluating, or for assessing the performances of the learner. Now, steps in year plan. I mean, what are the different steps you have to keep in mind are preparing a year plan for an academic session? Now, the first one, of units. Now, what is that? First of all, you have to decide that this is the syllabus for that academic year. After the selection of the subject, what you have to do? You have the unit. In how many units that particular subject has to be divided, or say that formation of the units is the first step in the preparation of the year plan. Now, formation of units, first step in the preparation of a year plan means the initial step has to be taken by the teacher when he is preparing for a year plan is to reorganize the subject. What the teacher has to do? The teacher has to reorganize the subject content, the subject content which he or she decided that this subject or content I will teach to the student in that particular reorganize the subject content of the curriculum into suitable units. Now, reorganize the subject content into number of units. How many units that subject content will be divided? First thing. Second, after the division of the subject content into units, you have to decide how topics will be included in first unit, how many will be included in the second unit. So what we are doing basically, we are first preparing or formulating the units, and then preparation of year plan. The first basic step is that for the formation of units, then reorganizing the subject matter uh, in those units, and then we have to decide that in how many units the whole curriculum has to divided. Now, one is determining objectives. Determining objectives means that you have to form some objectives. Now, what is the objective behind teaching that particular subject first? And what are the different or objectives for teaching that particular units or the different units in which the curriculum has been divided. Secondly, the teacher has to intention, anticipate the extent to which the various objectives can be achieved in different units. What are the first the teacher has to decide that these are the objectives, and it should be decided on the basis of the content of the various units. Now, on the basis of those units, on the topics of those units, uh, you have to decide that after teaching these topics, I if these objectives through different units. Now, the third one is scheduling of the time available for instruction. Now, you have to decide duration of time needed, required by you for the completion of the curriculum or the completion of specific units. The third step is to estimate the total number of periods. How many days or periods are required to complete that content or for that particular unit. That could be made available for the subject. That could be made available for the specific subject. Now, what are the advantages of yearly plan? Why you need to develop a year plan? What its utility? Now, the first one is maximum utilization of available time. If we have planned everything, we have planned whole academic year, the whole year, it will help us to for the maximum utilization of the available resources are there in the institution or the organization that can be used by us for completion of the particular units or topic and time. Now we have come to know that these are the two maximum periods that has to be in that I have to complete my topic or the content. Now, how to utilize that maximum time for completing or for achieving the objectives? It is helped through the yearly plan. It's give guidance to the teacher to plan unit and lesson plan. Now, what is that? Yearly plan helps the teacher to develop unit plans. Means yearly plans give guidance to the teacher for the preparation of a unit plan and lesson plan at the last. Distribute the time available for each lesson, and we can prepare that duration or that much time will be available for each lesson that has to be taught to the students. Extra activities, extracurricular activities, and new experience can be added. And extra activities and new experiences can be easily added when we are preparing the whole year plan. It's make teacher confident and self-reliant. If the year plan has been properly made, then it makes the teacher confident teacher and self. It saves time because everything has been planned in a proper order. It encourages continuity in teaching. It helps teacher to go in a systematic and orderly manner. Now, why that? When we have prepared a year plan, we have the knowledge that that particular unit has to be completed in that particular time. So we will organize our teaching accordingly. So ye say that it helps the teacher to go in a systematic, in a proper order. It helps teacher to inculcate certain aims with the help of certain activities through the year. Now, these are my aims, and to inculcate those aims in the students, the teacher can organize various activities in the during this year. Now, through those certain activities that are being organized by the teacher can inculcate certain aims among the students or the learner throughout the year. Year planning makes the work regular. If everything has been organized in a proper manner, then year planning makes the work regular, means there will no irregularities. Well organized, everything in a proper, well organized manner. Systematic in a systematic manner. It enhances the self-confidence of the teacher. It increases the self-confidence of the teacher because the teacher has full-proof plan of the academic year. Now he don't have to decide that how many days should be given for teaching that particular unit, how many days should I give to teach that particular so much extra time for teaching that particular time. If these things will be there, then what will happen? It will loses the confidence of the teacher. But if everything has been planned in a systematic and orderly manner, it will definitely increases the self-confidence of the learner. It facilitates appropriate use of aids at appropriate places. It facilitates, it encourages the use of aids that can be used by the teacher at different places during the plan. Year plan establishes proper correlation between different lessons. Means if as a teacher of economics, I am correlating my topic with commerce, then year planning helped me to establish a proper correlation between different lessons. The student's interest can be retained, the teacher can retain the student's interest in that particular unit or topic. Now, unit plan. Now, what do you mean by a unit plan? The planning for the unit is known as unit plan. Means when we are preparing a plan for a particular or a specific unit, we will term as a unit plan. Usually after the year plan, when the unit plan has to be prepared, it has to be prepared after the teacher has prepared a yearly plan. The teacher plans the unit plan. Now, who is planning the unit plan? It is the teacher who is planning for the unit plan. So the year plan should therefore be ready before one start preparing the unit plan. Now, what is that? If as a teacher, I have decided that I have to formulate a unit plan for this particular subject, before that, I must have the year. Then only I will able to prepare a effective unit plan for students for that academic year. Teacher is expected to recognize the contents of the text. Now, what are the different contents or topics of the text? On the subject matter which you have selected, into suitable units. Suitable units, how many units will be there? This is necessary when the matter is not systematically presented. Then it is necessary when the matter of a particular subject is not systematically present in the text. That material is not presented in the text. Unitary teaching necessities the interlocking of ideas in order to achieve full understanding. Unitary teaching necessary the interlocking of ideas, and that is necessary for interlocking of ideas so that we achieve full understanding of the content or the topic. Definition: a unit consists of a comprehensive series of related and meaningful activities. Series of related various meaningful activities, those have some meaning to achieve the purpose, and these activities are organized because we want to achieve something. Educational objective, we want to achieve the educational objective, the objectives which are we achieve them by providing significant educational experiences. By significant educational experiences means experiences related to those topic, or then it will be called as an educational experience. For giving the educational experience, the teacher can organize various activities in the class. The teacher can organize some field trips, so it will give different experiences to the learner. That would result in appropriate behavioral changes in the learner, and that experiences would appropriate behavioral changes in the learner. And if proper appropriate learner, then we will say that we have achieved our objectives. Now, characteristics of a unit plan effectively in terms of whole rather than fraction. Developmental and therefore for vertical and horizontal organization of learning experiences. Effective when it understanding and acceptance of goal to be achieved, and there is full and free participation planning for the attainment of those goals. Necessity for providing for increases in rate of learning and interest. Now, what is that? That in the unit plan, everything has to be included. What is the need for providing in things or the strategies or the learning ways for individual differences, keeping in mind among the class, the rate of learning and interest should be organized. Unit planning recognizes that true learning renders the learners increasingly skilled in self-direction. Recognizes that true learning renders the learner increasingly skilled, means the skill of the learners will increase. Self unit plan provides sound basis for evaluation, means gives on evaluation can be made and that evaluation is a soundproof evaluation. Unit plan. Selection and systemization of the unit. Selection, you have to select that this unit that I have to teach. Systemization, how it will be. The first step of a unit plan is to select a unit. If you will select a unit on the subject that you are going to teach, a unit should be viewed as a whole. Then, after selecting the unit, you have decided that I will teach the students that particular unit. The teacher has to listen carefully. After the selection of the unit, the teacher has to analyze its content. Help the teacher to have a thorough knowledge of the subject matter. Now, that content helps the teacher to have a thorough knowledge, a deep knowledge of the subject. Determination of objectives means now you will prepare the objectives for that particular unit. Determine the major as well as specific objective. And these are the major and these are the specific objectives of that particular topic. That should be realized by teaching these units. And these objectives has to be achieved by the teacher after teaching that particular unit to the students. Learning experience. Deciding upon the major learning experiences is the next step. These should be objective, life centered, and learner centered. Means all the objectives that have been prepared or decided should be have a centered and the learner centered. Selection of teaching aid means which teaching aids will be used by the teacher for teaching that particular topic or unit, and this will help the teacher for achieving the objectives that has been designed or formulated in that particular unit. For making the learning experience objective based and effective, a variety of instructional aids may become it's become a very necessary. The next step is to decide what are the teaching aids used. You have decided that these will be the objective and effective way of instructional aids may become necessary use, and after that you have to decide these are teaching aids. The help of those teaching aids will be taken by the teacher for the completion of that particular unit. Evaluation. The type of evaluation tool and for assessing the realization of the predetermined goals are to be selected in this stage. The type of evaluation tools. How you evaluate the performances of the learner and for assessing the realization of the predetermined goal and whether the goal that we have decided has been realized, achieved or not. Goals are to be selected in this stage. The final step is to decide upon assignment to be given to students. The final step in the end, when we are preparing for the unit plan, we have to decide that these type of assignment will be given by me for assessing of the learning. Now, need and importance of unit. It helps to have holistic whole of teaching and learning, which may help in organizing time and resources available at disposable. Whole view of teaching and learning, and which help him in organizing the proper time and the resources that are available at his disposable um, at his point. It helped in designing a systematic necess- unit plan in a systematic, sequential, the proper order, integrated arrangement of course content, which may give insight to develop teaching activities in the best possible manner. It helps in giving a balanced emphasis to various aspects of course content or competency under references. It provides an opportunity to correlate textual content with the competencies to be dealt with in the class. It may help thinking about alternative approaches to teaching, learning, and adapting individual differences. Means what are the different approaches that can be adopted by the teacher to teach the students, and those approaches should be used in such a way that the individual differences, need of the individual can be easily satisfied. It may help unit-wise evaluation of children. If you have prepared a proper unit, it may help unit-wise evaluation or assessment of children. And in organizing remedial teaching, and that evaluation, the performances of the students on those evaluation, we will able to organize remedial teaching accordingly and undertaking encouragement measures as per the requirements and different measures that will be required for giving them the remedial teaching. Now, features of unit plan. Learning take place in fraction. Learning is developed and provide for vertical and horizontal organizations of learning experience. Unit plan recognizes the for self-learning. We are indulged himself in the process of learning. Assignments, different assignments, etc. are planned accordingly. Learner is a rendered self-directed, assume responsibility for selection, organization, and evaluation of her own learning. Now, criteria of a good unit. Variety of experiences should be planned. Means the teaching should be done in such a way that it gives students a variety of experience. Related topics should be clubbed together. Means those topics which are somewhat similar can be clubbed together. Unit should be put on the part of the sequence. Learning outcomes should be considered important. What are the learning outcomes or the objectives that we want to achieve? Should be the result of student and teacher cooperative learning, and should be planned in such a way that it is the result of student and teaching cooperative learning. Now, merits of unit plan. It is also flexible to deal with a wide range of learning situations. It develops the qualities like self-confidence, persistence, security, etc. in the students. It provides opportunity to the teacher to do experiments with his over in collaborations with people. Provide opportunities to the teacher to do experiments with his ideas, collaboration with people. For effective teaching learning process, it is psychologically sound approach. Now, demerits and limitations of a unit plan. What are the demerits and limitations of a unit plan? The division of the content of the syllabus into meaningful and complete unit subjects is not an easy task. Now, what they are saying, to divide the whole content, the whole syllabus into different units and subunits, it's not a easy task. It's a very difficult task. The improper and Faculty formation of the units and subunits may create hurdles on the part of teacher and student for the teaching and learning of the subject. If the teacher has created or formulated the units and subunits in improper manner, then what will happen? The objectives cannot be achieved, and that distribution of or the formation of answer units results in the part of teacher and student for the proper teaching learning of the particular subject. Unit planning restrict the freedom of the teacher. The predetermined objectives, learning experiences, what are the different learning experiences, methods that are available, and resources that are being there. Evaluation procedure, what is the different evaluation procedure? Because classroom situations and circumstances cannot for every class. Means methods, a single method cannot apply to all the classes going to teach. The teacher and student have no other way than to follow the guidelines provided by the unit planning may make the teacher too much conscious for the implementation of the plan scheme as the plan become a tedious work throughout this session. Now, resource unit, it is a huge collection of material and activities related to a particular topic. Now, what do you mean by a resource unit? A resource unit is a huge, a wide collection of material and activities that can be used or related to a particular topic. It is a much more comprehensive than teaching unit. It is much more detailed than but teaching a particular unit to a student is prepared by a group of experts. That resource units are prepared by a group of expert persons in particular subjects. In particular subjects, those who are the experts of that particular subject. It is a reservoir of knowledge for teachers. Steps for preparation of resource unit. Title, it should have a title. Introduction, what do you mean by the resource units? Journal objective, what are the journal objectives that have been kept in mind? Content analysis, means content should be analyzed, activities, different activities that will be on teaching materials, different teaching materials and sources that will be used, evaluation procedure, how you will evaluate that, references book, different reference book that you can give the students that they can refer these sources. Now, students, we have discussed the meaning of yearly plan, the concept of unit plan, advantages of year plan, and the advantages of unit plan, different steps that are involved in the preparation of year plan, why year planning is so much important, features, characteristics of unit plan and year plan. In the end, we have discussed about the concept of resource units and steps that are being used for the preparation of a resource unit. Now let us discuss some MCQs on the topic we have discussed today, as MCQs are the best way to judge the learning outcomes of a particular unit of the students. First one is dash planning is a planning for the year, a year work. What is a planning which has been done for the complete year? Now the options are A yearly, B unit, C plan, or is D instructional plan. Now students, these are the options and you have to select the correct one, and the correct one is yes, the correct one is option A, that is yearly. Second, dash is a systematic procedure for finding out the extent to which the people have realized the objectives and specification. Which is the systematic procedure for finding out the extent to which the people have achieve those objectives or specifications. Options are A. Year plan, B. Unit plan, C. Plan, C. D. Instruction plan. Now these are the options and you have to select the correct one. And the correct one is year plan. Formation of units is the dash step in the preparation of a year plan. Formation of unit is the dash step when we are preparing a year plan. Is to reorganize the subject content. In that we have to reorganize the subject content of the curriculum into suitable units, and you are reorganizing the subject content of the curriculum into suitable units. The options are A first, B second, C third, or it's D fifth. Now the students, you have to select the correct one, and the correct answer is option A, that is first. In determining objectives, the teacher has to intelligently anticipate the extent to which the various objectives can be achieved through different. Options are A unit, B formal, C annual, or it's D fixed. So students, these are the options and you have to select the correct one, and the correct answer is option A, that is unit. The planning for the unit is known as, what do we call when we are planning for a unit? Usually after the year plan, which is done after the preparation of a year plan, the teacher plans the unit plan. Options are A unit plan, B C plan, or D instruction plan. So the correct answer is the planning for the unit is known as unit plan, which is usually done after the year plan. Now the sixth one, dash unit is a huge collection of materials and activities related to a particular topic. Options are A resource, B material, C subject, or it's D topic. So these are the options and you have to select the correct one, and the correct one is option A, that is resources. Seventh, dash planning may make the teacher too much conscious for the implementation of the plan scheme, as the planning puts a tedious work throughout the session. Now the options are A unit, B annual, C lesson, or it's D plan. So these are the options and the correct answer is option A, that is unit. A unit plan make the teachers too conscious for the implementation of the plan scheme, means everything should be done according to the plan. Eighth, dash plan helps the teacher to have a holistic view of teaching learning, means the whole view of teaching learning, which may help in organizing time and resources available at his disposal. Now the options are A unit, B lesson, C annual, or it's D instruction. Now these are the options and you have correct one, and the correct answer is option A, that is unit. Now the ninth one, dash and the to have a thorough knowledge of the subject matter, which helps the teacher to have a thorough knowledge of the subject. Now the options are A content, B subject, C unit, or D annual. Now, which option has been correct? Now you have to select it. And the correct answer is yes, the correct answer is option A, that is content analysis helps the teacher to have a deep knowledge of the subject matter related to a particular subject. Question 10, dash plan helps teacher inculcate certain aims, means helping the to inculcate certain aims with the help of certain activities, and the teacher wants to inculcate these certain aims with the help of different activities throughout the year, which we have decided that has to be done throughout the year, throughout the complete year. Now the options are A year, B plan, C unit, or it's D instructional. So these are the options A, B, C, D. Now you have to select the correct on the basis of the given choices, and the correct answer, yes, the correct answer is option A, is year plan. Thank you, students. With this particular narration, you have understood the concept of year plan. Year plan is so much important. What are the different features or of formulating a year plan? Then we have discussed the various steps that are in formulation of the year plan. Now, we have decided that the teacher has to prepare a year plan, and it should not only include the curricular activities that will be undertaken by the teacher during the year plan, but it must also include the various curricular activities that will be undertaken during the academic year or the annual year. Then teacher has to decide what type of objectives they will achieve with the use of these curricular and the curricular activities. Uh, and then we have discussed about the merits of preparing a yearly plan. Then we discussed about the concept of a unit plan. A teacher has to prepare a unit plan for a specific particular. It has to be done after the teacher prepared a yearly plan. Then we have discussed the different steps that are needed to prepare for the preparation of the unit plan, different characteristics of a unit plan. Then we discuss about the steps that are involved in the formulation of the unit plan. And then we have discussed the merits of preparing a unit plan. And we have discussed about the limitations and demerits of preparing a unit plan. And the best thing that we have come to, both year plan and unit plan are very necessary for the teacher to follow if he wants to complete his teaching learning process in a systematic and an orderly manner. And the demerit which come to know about the unit plan is that it is very difficult to formulate units. It's a very tedious job to divide the subject or the content into the units. And if it's not done in a proper order, then we will not able to achieve our objectives. So in the next class, we will talk about lesson plan. Thank you, students. Thank you so much for your patience. Lesson.